All
So
right.
Victor,
All right, Robert. Finished with that breakfast?
yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? What have you been doing with real estate and how long?
Oh, I've been in real estate for quite a number of years. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I've been doing investment real estate for some time. I've done a couple of different things from wholesaling. I decided to change my focus in the last year to the lease option game because I think it's going to speak to what we're coming into with the COVID and coming out of COVID and everything else. I think there might be a situation where people have more cash than anything else. And I like the methodology because it allows you to test drive a house. And I sell that. I sell the test drive because at the end of it, maybe, if we buy a house under normal circumstances and we move into it and we find out that we got the neighbor from hell, or that, we just don't like the environment of that area, or your kids don't like the school or whatever, now you're stuck though.
Right.
So with the lease option game, you can just decide at some point, look, and if you're really smart about it, you'll either call back the person who got you involved, one of us, or you may turn that lease option over yourself if you know how. And if you go to my websites and stuff, it'll teach you how.
Yeah.
So you can get the money back that that you had initially put out. You can get that money back. So I kind of sell that. I kind of like that, the whole process of the lease option game. I think it's pretty good. I'm also trying to look at maybe incorporating some land stuff, which is also, attractive to me. No tenants, no toilets.
Yeah. So
Hey,
how long have
David,
you been
how's
a
it going, brother?
realtor? How long have you been a realtor?
I've had my license. I've been a realtor for probably 10 years as a whole, just sort of up and on. I've had my license though since like '92, and I was a mortgage company owner when the market collapsed. So I took a beat down, during that time period. It took me a while to come back from it. Had some real negative experiences with friends who, took their life, the whole nine. So that was a bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, we get up and we move up.
Yeah. Absolutely. You just got to keep pressing forward.
We gotta keep pressing forward. I was disappointed that some of them chose the direction they decided to go with their choice. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, man, it always gets better.
Yeah.
It just looks bleak in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I pastor a church up here, and it's unfortunate, how people, they don't realize, that what they think is how bad they got it. There's always somebody who's got even worse.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
And so,
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I'm a 4-time cancer survivor, and I'm only
Four
50.
time?
Yeah.
Wow, man,
So 4
man.
different surgeries,
Uh-huh.
uh, and yeah. So I mean, but I've got life ahead of me. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah. And if you say you're a pastor, I see you have one of your reasons behind you right there.
yes, she's roaming around trying to find something. Yeah,
Right,
I've got
right.
four reasons. Well, 5 including my wife.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Very, very cool. Very cool. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday training. It's about 5 minutes after or 4 minutes after. We'll give a little bit longer, let some people jump on board. But if anybody has anything they want to share, Wei Lin, I think you're brand new. I've never seen you before. Welcome, my friend. How are you? You need to unmute your mic. Oh, there you go.
Oh, good. How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So you're new here. You're in the real estate game, or are you doing this for another area of sales?
Well, I've been class student for a while, and
Okay,
I'm not very active.
okay.
And it's just, with everything that's been going on, it's been taking me for a while to start, getting into the real estate game.
Okay,
And definitely want to learn, how you guys communicate with sellers, role play, learn as much as I could.
absolutely, absolutely. What area of real estate are you focused on? Is there a particular methodology that you favor?
um, I th- I would definitely prefer to, have as much cash on cash return. So it's definitely going to be seller financing model, lease options subject to stuff like that.
Oh, very good, very good. All right. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. We can do some role play stuff, but before we do, I kind of wanted to go over a couple of things. This might actually speak to you, Waylon, because you're just now, you're just getting started back in the game. But we're going to talk about some role play scenarios, right? So when we're looking at buying properties, we're looking for less the property and more the motivation. Okay, we're trying to find out who is this person and why would they sell me their property under the terms or at the price that I need them to sell them to me for me to have this be a viable business. So really it's broken down into, I believe, 7 primary motivators, right? So number one motivator is they're having trouble making their mortgage payments. Okay, they've had something go on in their life that has either reduced their income or increased their expenses, and now they're having a really hard time making their mortgage payments. That's a motivator because, well, we all know it's tough when you can't make that payment at the end of the month. So that's one. Um, Number two is they've inherited a property that they don't want or cannot afford. So somebody's passed away, so they're dealing with grief already. And then they turn around and now they have inherited something that may be out of state. In either case, it becomes now a burden, something else on their plate that they may not want. So they're really receptive to, hearing some offers about the property, right? Number three, divorce. Divorce is huge. That's always very, that's a difficult um, minefield to navigate through. You have to definitely make sure that you are stepping cautiously because everybody's emotions are really high. There's a lot of, you know, some bitterness and in some cases outright hatred. So you really have to work your way around, that situation. But it's a great situation for us to be able to pick up real estate on the terms or at the price that we're looking for. Another one is they're moving. Either they have gotten a new job, something in life has caused them to have to relocate, and now they have a property that is soon to become a burden. Great motivator. All right. I'm going over some of these. We're going to use some of these in some of our role plays. Okay. Um, that's moving and need to sell fast for whatever reason. That kind of falls into the same category. Another one is they can't sell their house. They've listed it. It's been listed more than once. Or they're realizing that it's listed currently and they have 0 offers on this property. Nobody is biting on their deal, and there's a number of reasons for that. Unrealistic expectations relative to what the value of that property is. They don't have the money to do the actual fix up, especially now we're talking about a very large population of baby boomers who may be living, on Social Security, paycheck to paycheck, whatever. They need to sell a property, but that property needs some work before the realtor feels like they can actually list the property, and they don't have the money to actually do that. So now it becomes a burden for them and they just want to get out. Tired landlords, number 6, tired landlords. They're great because they're just tired. They're sick and tired of dealing with tenants. They're tired of personalities. Some people get into landlording and they realize after they do it that they don't even like people that much. You know, that people are difficult and people, you know, the landlord, every landlord to every tenant, every landlord is wealthy. It's just a mindset, right? They think that if you own this property, you're wealthy. So they treat the landlords as if it's somebody who can absorb all the stuff that they, you know, screw up, bring to the table, late in payments. They think every landlord can afford that. So a lot of landlords get tired of that nonsense and that whole thing. They're great because you know you can get that house because all they want to do is get out and get their peace of mind back. And then of course, vacant houses. A vacant house, unless it's owned free and clear, and even if it's owned free and clear, it has its expenses and it has its risks. You know, you have the city or the county could, you know, put liens against the property if it's not maintained. There's all sorts of, you can have squatters, you can have stuff done to the property while you're not there. Not to mention you're paying mortgage, taxes, insurance, and everything on the property, and it's bringing in zero income. So that's a huge motivator. All right. So we'll use some of those. Give me just 1 second. Let me let my man Jimmy in. Okay, so we'll use those as some scenarios. Now we're going to paint that on a backdrop of prospects make immediate business decisions based on emotion and they justify it later. Okay, so our job in the role play, in the conversation, is to uncover whatever emotion it is that's going to allow them to say yes to your offer. And one of those 7 motivators will be the underlying reason for them to say yes. And our job in the conversation basically is to uncover that motivation. And unfortunately, it sounds terrible, but to turn the screws on it. We've got to make them really present to that issue such that they are ready to resolve that issue with you today. That's really our whole thing. And through this process that we use called gut selling, it's basically 3 steps. First, it's the agenda. We let them know what it is that we're there to do, and we give them permission to fire us. One of the things we say all the time is, look, if something I'm saying doesn't speak to you, you know, you find that you don't like me, whatever the reason may be, Mr. Homeowner, feel free to fire me. Is that okay with you? And it gives them a certain permission, right? So, and then, is it okay for me to ask questions? Get their permission to ask questions. And, you know, normally now you have a little bit more of an opening rather than forcing a whole bunch, because nobody likes to have that feeling of interrogation. I know I don't, right? Nobody wants that. So you ask the permission to ask the question, and then you kind of just draw a roadmap. That's step 1. That's the agenda phase. And then we qualify them, right? What's their commitment? What's their timeline? How much money? If it's a purchase situation, say you're talking to, you know, potential tenant buyer, you want to know what the money situation is. And even when you're talking to a seller, money may actually be a motivator, right? And then they're uncovering their needs and greeds. And then step 3 is obviously to close, you know, satisfy that need, scratch that itch, so to speak, review it with them, confirm it with them, modify whatever needs to be modified in the process in terms of, okay, well, if that doesn't work, would this work better for you, sort of methodology. Hold on 1 second for me. And then you close, obviously. Now, there's a certain part to the close that I kind of want to stress on a little bit is you always want to confirm your follow-up appointment and try to lock it in somehow. That's kind of become a big deal in our scenarios because we get ghosted a lot. once you get to a certain point in people, and if you're in sales at all in any capacity, you know what I'm talking about. You want to avoid the getting ghosted. So you want to hold them to account whenever you get ready to get off that phone with them. Stroke them, acknowledge them, and that's one way that we find that kind of works, right? You sort of look, you seem like you're a person of your word. Everything we've talked about today just seems to indicate that you're really straight up person. So when we get off the phone today, and I can count on you to meet back up with me at 4:30 today, and if you can't for whatever reason, you let me know in advance. Can I count on you for that? Something of that nature. That's my wording, but there's any number of ways that you can do it, and we'll go ahead and practice. So that kind of lays the groundwork for it. So with that, let's see who wants to do some role play. I see we got my man Jimmy. Hey Jimmy. Don't everybody.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, for sure, sure. Hey, you guys, don't be shy. Let's get some folks on here. If you guys want, Jimmy, if you I know you're always down and you're always practicing, and Damon. How about Jimmy and Damon? How about we go there?
Okay.
Sounds amazing. You guys are the best.
Okay.
All right, I'll paint a scenario. Let's go with the recently divorced scenario. Who wants to be the seller, and who wants to be the buyer?
I want to be the seller.
Okay. Yeah, you're always the buyer, right?
I'm always the buyer.
Always the buyer. Jimmy's like, I want the other seat today. All right. So Damon, why don't you, you are the buyer. Jimmy, you're just going through a divorce situation. Things have kind of broken down over there. There's a little bit of difficulty in communication. You got a property that you both lived in. You both have now, one of you has moved out. You can decide whether or not the property is vacant, or if in fact you're, still in the property but needing to get out. Why don't we do that? Why don't we say you're still at the property, but you're definitely trying to get out and move away and, get your life started. Let's do a price point of, let's say the property is worth $250. You have a mortgage on the property of $180.
Okay. Go ahead, Dan.
Ring ring.
Hey, hello?
Yeah, I was calling about that house I saw online. It's not still available, is it?
Yes, it's actually available, but how did you get my number?
I saw it on Zillow, and I'm actually looking for a property in the area, and I was wondering if I can ask you some questions about it and see if we can do some business today, and if not, you can tell me no. How does that sound?
That sounds good. I appreciate you for even calling me. It sounds great. What questions you have for me?
Well, I was curious. I mean, how old is the property, and does it need any repairs or anything?
The properties, I'm pretty sure that the year of the properties online, you can actually see it. It's self-explanatory online, but it needs some work. It's gonna need a new kitchen, a new bathroom, some updating. It depends on, I'm not sure what is it that you're gonna be using the property for, but it needs some work. If you're planning to live in it or rent it out, I'm not sure. Well,
how much you think, like money wise, it would take to get it back up to in perfect condition?
I'm not a contractor. I can't really give you like an exact price. To me, I would say it would probably take 15,000 to 20,000 work.
15,000 to 20,000. So it just needs like a kitchen, you said?
Yeah, kitchen, bathroom, regular updating in the property. TLC, you could say. The roof is good. I replaced that 6 years ago, so you wouldn't have to worry about the roof at all.
I guess there's a little bit of TLC it needs on that.
Yeah, it's gonna need some TLC. Yeah.
I mean, why are you selling this house?
You know, it's a long story. You know, for some reason, I kind of feel like a failure. I'm going through a divorce right about now. I've been with my wife for at least 25 years now, and she actually gave me, she hit me with a low blow that she wanted to get a divorce. You know, so
Hey,
that's
man,
why I'm
you're not a
selling.
failure. Everyone, people go through that all the time. I mean, you're not a failure on that.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you're not looking to do anything right now on this house, are you? You got time on it, or
Yes, I'm actually looking to do something ASAP.
as soon as possible? Okay. You don't have a mortgage on this thing, do you?
Yes, I actually do have a mortgage, and my mortgage is actually I believe I owe 180,000. I'm not sure. I just need to go back on the paper. It's 180,000.
You're around 180 or so.
Mhm.
What's the payment on that?
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I was asking, what's the payment on that?
Oh, the payments. I'm paying $725 a month. $725, and I'm current.
Okay, you're current. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, you're asking 250, and it's you have a mortgage of 180 on it, and it needs about 20 in repairs. You said.
Correct.
Okay. Let's see. If I can get you what you're asking, I mean, you think we can work something out today on this?
I'm pretty sure we can actually work on it.
Okay, and if I can get you that price you're asking, do you think you can rent it to me for 24 months and then I can buy it?
What is that? I never heard that before. Like, what is that?
That's a great question. What it is I'll rent it to you for 24 months and then I'll buy it at that price that you're asking for. I just need a little bit of time to make sure it appraises, and I can do some fix up on the property in that time.
Okay, what price that you agreed to purchase it at?
Well, okay, so you see. Could you do 200?
I can't.
Can't. What's the best you could do on that?
You know, wow. I'm looking to walk away with. I'm actually looking to walk away with the 250. I'm sorry, I can't go any lower. I got a mortgage on the property, and I'm actually looking to move on with my life and have some extra money for the next property when I actually do sell it. So I really need to be at 250.
Yeah, I understand you need your price and everything, but I mean, you have to understand also from my position, I'm gonna have to get in there and do some work on this thing. So I'm gonna need a little bit better price on this because, I mean, I'd love to give you 250 on that, but I mean, I need. Can you work with me on the price a little bit?
You know, you mentioned that 200, and you know that's not a good fit. How about Yeah, I could do 240. 240s, yeah, what I could do.
240. Yeah, I don't know if we can do a fit on this because I mean, like you said, it's if it's worth 250, and I got to put 20 into it. I mean, I'm gonna be losing money doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, have you thought about doing the repairs yourself?
Yeah, actually, I haven't, to be honest. I just want this property over with. Like I mentioned, I'm going through a divorce, and I'm not looking to, take some extra money out of my pockets to get it fixed. I just want to get this finalized and, and move on with my life. So, I could close this chapter right here.
I'll tell you what. If I could do this, where you can move on with your life and you can have a little bit of money to move on to where you're going. Where are you going, by the way?
That's a good question. I was actually planning to move back to Georgia.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Got a piece of property over there. Gonna move up to Georgia and just, start all over. Be with the family. I grew up there with the family.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah, if I could do this and if we can come together on a price, so you can move and be done with this property, so you can move closer to your family, and you won't have to deal with the stress of this or deal with the fixing for this property. I mean, would you be open to doing it for $215?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, it sounds good. I mean, I'd love to work with you on this because I'm looking for a property in that area. Here's what I'd like to do. I mean, I'm going to send you over a contract
Okay.
with all the figures and everything. And
Okay.
if you could take a look at them, if you can get it sent back to me. But if you have any questions, how about we go ahead and set up an appointment at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And if you have any questions, then you can ask me, and we can go from there. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
And if everything looks good, are you okay to say yes or no on this?
Yes, I'm actually ready to move forward today. You mentioned that you want to wait till 5 o'clock. I want to move forward now. So
Okay,
we still have time. It's 12 o'clock now. Can we move forward now?
Yeah, we can do it now. I need to get the contract sent to you, but as soon as I can get it too, we can sign it up right there.
Okay. Once I actually receive the contract, I look over it, and it actually makes sense. I don't think it's going to be any delays. It's no one I need to talk to or anything like that. So everything is up to me. I'm responsible with the property. So most likely, it's 12 o'clock now, and then you say you're going to send the contract to me when?
As soon as we get everything, I'll get working on it. I'll get it right over to you. So within an hour.
Okay, great. I'll be waiting on the email. I appreciate it.
Okay, we'll talk. I'll send it over to you, and if everything looks good, sign it. But we'll still follow up at 5 o'clock to make sure everything. If you have any questions or anything like that.
Yes, correct. You can do it at 5.
All right, sounds good. I'll talk to you then.
Thank you.
All right, guys. All right, way to go, way to go. Anybody have any feedback? Anything they could have done different, better, something that you saw that might have been dropped out? So the one thing that I was making note of, and actually Jimmy kind of brought it together at the end, was whenever you're dealing with a divorce situation, you always have to make sure that you find out the role of the wife in the relationship that they have in some sort of way. Because I guarantee you it will come up later on and bite you in the butt if you don't have a certain sense of what this relationship looks like.
Yeah.
What kind of monkey wrench can be thrown into it by the other party. Those types of things. And it doesn't have to be like an interrogation, and one thing that I was gonna say, Damon, is you could have probably created a little bit more bond by sharing a story of something that you had experienced or had seen occur in a situation like that.
Correct.
Look, I just had a friend who just went through this. Unfortunately, his was a little contentious, and things got a little ugly. Yours is not like that, is it? Now he starts telling you a little bit about, his situation, and you start to find out a little bit more about it and start to step into that pain. Okay, but everything else, you set the agenda. You set the agenda really well. You kind of let them know that you were, what you were trying to do. You did the qualification and stuff. Could have probably, did a little bit more in terms of getting him, qualified. And, at that point, you can step into the motivators, right? And make sure that you have them completely. One question that I find that really works is that if you say to somebody, once this is all done, how would that look for you?
Mm.
Paint a picture in their mind.
Yeah, and paint that picture. Paint that picture. How would that look for you? How would you feel if we can get this done for you today? You know, what would that do for your life?
That imagine kick in.
That imagine.
Imagine.
Imagine, yeah. Imagine now that we've, you know, got to the other side of this. What does it look like for you?
Yeah.
You know, and what can I do? How can I, you know, make sure that this gets done? Is there anything that you need me to do to make sure that that gets fulfilled for you? Now you're on the team.
Yeah. My friend.
Now we're teammates. You know, now we're friends, right? So, you know, it changes the dynamic a little bit. Hopefully moves you a little bit closer to a relationship that the next guy who's going to call him, because he's going to get another call or 20, right? You know, may or may not have the ability to just, you know, create that bond.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Great job, you guys. All right. All right. So let's get a couple more volunteers, you guys. Don't be shy. Hey, and don't worry, you're not being judged here. We're all just sort of, you know, learning, and, you know, we're going to coach each other up. We're going to, you know, suggest something. If you see something that's missing or whatever, make a note of it so that we can, you know, talk about it, and we'll help each other out along this process. Nobody here is an expert. I'm not an expert at all. I just happen to be the one hosting. You know, but do have a little bit of experience, and, you know, I do study the process and stuff, but everything is it's just practice. All right, so let's do another scenario. Can we get a volunteer?
I can be a buyer. I mean, seller.
Okay, so Damon, you can be the seller. Who wants to be the investor? Kenneth?
Yeah, I'll be the investor.
Let's do it, man. I appreciate you jumping in there, bro. All right, so let me give you guys a scenario to work with. Let's do this. Let's say that you had someone pass away and you just inherited a property, and you live out of state, and you are not trying to deal with this property at all. Like it is just going to be a burden for you. So you definitely are looking for some ways to, you know, to get this situation resolved and get it resolved quickly for yourself. The property, like I said, is out of state. Property is worth, we'll say $150,000. The property is now free and clear. But the property does have some maintenance issues, and obviously it's vacant and abandoned, and may have gotten a call or two from neighbors or cities about some stuff going on at the property. Okay, so that's the scenario. This should create a pretty, you know, solid motivation for this person. But Kenneth, your job is basically to pull it out of them, you know, to you know, I hate to say it this way, but turn the screws.
Okay.
You know, I know it sounds harsh, but, you know, that's what we got to do. We got to make them present to the condition. Right? If we don't do that, you know, you just find that, you know, you're just floating on water, and you're just there with a whole bunch of other pieces of wood floating on water, right? You have to distinguish yourself somehow. You've got to create that relationship somehow. All right, so you guys take it away.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello. Can I speak with Damon?
Speaking.
Hey, Damon, this is Ken. I don't know how I got your number. Could be about insurance, real estate. You wouldn't happen to have a house or anything for sale, would you?
Well, yeah, I actually have a house that I'm trying to get rid of.
Oh, really? Okay, so why are you trying to get rid of it?
Well, it's I inherited a property recently, and I'm looking to sell it. I mean, I'm not in the area or anything, so
Okay, so you just really just woke up and decided I got to have a property. I'm gonna sell it. Why won't you just keep it?
like I said, I'm not in the area, so I can't be there to maintain it or anything like that. So that's why I really need to get it sold.
Oh, okay. Where are you at, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in Louisiana.
Louisiana, and where's the property?
The property is in Tennessee.
Well, oh, okay. Can't be that far of a commute, right? I mean, Tennessee. Right.
It's probably about a 10, 11-hour
Pretty
drive.
far.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little.
Real quick here. I know you wouldn't want to sell that property today, would you?
Yeah, if I get my price, I'd sell it.
Okay, great. Well, if it's okay with you, Damon, I want to ask you a few questions. You ask me a few questions. We'll see if we can come to a meeting of the minds, maybe get something done today. And if not, it's okay to say, hey, Ken, take a hike, fire me. I do this all day. What I would like to see happen if it does work, hey, let's go ahead and do something. If it doesn't, we don't have to do the I'll think about it, ask my pet rock, go in the closet. Basically, we just come to a decision today. I mean, is that okay with you?
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, what you need to know?
I just need to know basically kind of the history of the property. I know you say you didn't wake up and decide to sell it, but kind of the history, what kind of shape it's in, different things like that.
Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about it because I inherited it from a family member that passed away recently, and it's been a few years since I've been to the property, and back then it needed some work too. So I don't know. I'm not sure the current condition of it right now. I'm just trying to get it sold. I know the houses in that area, they're going for around 150 or so. So that's what I'm asking.
Okay, so, and you say you don't know the repairs, how much it would cost to get it up to 2020 standards?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that because I haven't been there.
Okay, so let me ask you, how did you come to that price of 150,000? You have a realtor or?
I talked to a realtor and they said that's what the prices of the houses in the area are going for, around 150. I mean, I know it does need some work, but I don't know the amount that it would need.
Okay, so why wouldn't you let your realtor list it for you?
Well, I don't want to pay a commission. I'd rather have me pocket the money.
Okay, smart man. Okay, so, and you say 150,000, and you did say you live in out of state. So
Yes,
let's say it does need some repairs. Now, Damon, what I do is I buy properties basically two ways, either price or terms.
okay.
With a property like this one, it says 150. I would need it, a deep discount. So are you looking for cash up front, or maybe could you give me a little time to pay you off?
What do you have in mind with cash?
Cash, basically, I need about a 70% discount. Would that work for you?
I mean, I really would like to get closer to my value, the price that I'm asking, closer to 150.
Let me jump in here real quick. Now, you said 70% discount, or did you mean 30% discount? Because you want to get it 70%. Yeah, you want a 30% discount. Okay, yeah, because 70% discount, this call is over. I'm giving you a 70% discount. Anyway, I just wanted to clear that, because in case he was thinking that same thing, right? You're pretty much out of that deal. But you may actually be aiming for a lease option, and really are trying to discourage. I don't know where you were going with that. I just wanted to point it out.
Okay. Okay, you said you did want your the 150.
Yeah, man, if I can get it or close to it, I mean, I'd be happy with that.
Close to it. Okay. And you're okay with let's just say I could do that. What would happen next?
Yeah, I mean, if I can get the 150, I'd want to move forward with this.
You would or you will move forward?
Yeah, if I can get the 150, I'll move forward.
Okay. So if you get the 150, you'll move forward. So if I get a contract up to date, which should take me a little while to do, and I can get it over to you, are you the only one making the decisions in this process, or is anyone else?
No, I'm the only owner on this. I inherited from an uncle.
You're inherited for the okay, so you're the only one on it. Okay. So let's just say I could go ahead and get the information over to you. You take a look at it. Everything looks great. What happens then?
Yeah, if everything looks great, we can move forward on this.
Okay, so we got a deal today.
Yeah, I mean, if I can get my price that I'm looking for.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and get that in there. Basically, I get a contract over to you today. You look it over. Let's say about 5:30 this evening. We get back on. Can we get back on FaceTime or you have an iPhone?
Yeah, I have an
Okay.
iPhone. That'll work.
Okay, so Damon, I know basically you probably gotten a lot of calls. Do you feel okay about the decision that you came to about this property today?
Yeah, I'm glad to sell it if I can get my 150.
Okay, great. So you seem like a guy that's really upfront, knows what he wants. You seem like a really upstanding guy. That's the way I feel about you. I don't know why I get that, but that's what I feel. So if you're a man of your word, so am I. Basically, we'll get back together here 4:30, and basically we'll go ahead and get this taken care of today, okay?
That sounds good. I'll talk to you then.
All right, now if anything comes up, I mean anything at all, please give me a call or I give you a call. Other than that, we will meet at 4:30 today, okay?
Yeah, sounds great. We'll meet at 4:30.
All right, talk to you later.
Talk to you then.
A lot of good stuff right there, guys. Love the way you closed it out and confirmed the appointment, at least to the degree that you could. I like the way you stroked his ego, let him know that he was, that you felt good about him. You kind of called him on, being of his integrity. I find that, personally, that's just a great tactic because when somebody tells you that you are great integrity, you sort of take it on like a reality, no matter what, right? So now it's a situation that it's a reality you want to live into. So I think it's a great tactic. We use it all the time, in gut selling. So that was really, really good. You guys jump in here. Any comments? Anything that you saw that could have been different, better, that maybe was missed or something?
More, I feel like he probably could have been able to bond with the seller more as far as the story, and the seller. It got to the point the seller kept repeating himself as far as the price and etc. to like limit them, keep repeating himself over and over.
Okay.
The other thing maybe I missed it, but was he agreed to give him his price, but kind of said, I can work either on price or terms. So
Yeah.
Did I miss that he talked about terms concerning his full price?
Yeah. I kind of saw that too, because at some point it sounded like you got to a price of 150. You were going to give him the entire 150, and it was pretty much over. So you were getting ready to pay the full retail price in all cash, which basically makes you a retail buyer and not an investor.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I was kind of wondering what, how you were going to, play that out. But you kind of just went straight from there into the close. So now you have a situation where Damon thinks he's getting $150,000 cash and getting ready to walk. So when you talk to him again, it's going to be completely different, and
It's gonna be
you know,
hard.
it's going to probably fall apart, and it's going to become contentious.
Yeah, because when you send the contract that says I'm going to give him 150, but I'm going to pay you over 5 years, that's going to probably just
That's different than what you told him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can role play it again if you want to do like for an offer with terms.
Yeah, if you want to, build on it, go back into that. Wait, Lynn, you were gonna say something?
Oh no, I mean, I thought like, you know, because over the phone it was confirmed the price at 150. Now, you know, when they see the contract, you know, or when they actually see the number, we're still matching the 150. It just, you know, it doesn't have to be cash, or it doesn't have to be. I mean, you know, as long as you match that price. I mean, that was what was agreed upon over the phone. So I figure, you know, when they see the seller, you know, it's like, hey, you know, we agreed on 150. We didn't say we agree on cash 150.
Yeah, but now the water's muddy. And if it's muddy like that, you have, you know, there's too many escape routes. He's not confirmed. You're coming in with something completely different. Your integrity now becomes in question because it's a little bit shady. Okay, yeah, it's 150, but you know, I'm pretty sure he's left with the expectation that it's 150 cash.
Yeah.
When you come back with 150 on terms or in any other fashion now, you know, I'm a little, you know, I'm in question.
But then we're basically making that initial, you know, meeting over the phone just to agree on a price, but then we didn't actually inspect the property. Now, what happens if there are a lot of repairs that's actually going to be needed? That's not going to meet the 150 still, regardless.
Okay. And that's contingencies that will be built in. You definitely want to get that question asked up front. So Kenneth, that's a great point in terms of, you know, clearing up, you know, what would reduce that, because remember when I painted this scenario, I talked about some calls coming in from the city, about neighbors calling about potential, and the reason I threw that out there is because I wanted to give you an opportunity to, you know, have some pain points that you could address. You know, so what's going on with the property right now? You know, is it just a financial thing for you, or, you know, I know that properties left alone like that, there's a lot of things coming up. You're not dealing with any of that, are you?
Right. But going back to what Wei Lin was saying, you know, when you get off the phone with the seller, you want to make sure that before they get the contract, that you're confirmed for both price and terms. If it's a cash buy, if he's willing to say, yeah, I'll take cash at a 30% discount, then that's the contract he's expecting. But if he sets them up for $150,000 and then now, like you said, the water's muddy when he gets the contract, he says, oh, you want me to receive that $150,000 over the next 10 years? Yeah, that's not what I planned. I'm out. So you got to make sure that you're firm on terms as well as price. They have to go together. Otherwise, you're just blindsided, and you'll lose.
And also, I'm sorry, Robert.
That's okay.
Yeah, also, to piggyback on what Robert said, understand that you're not the only person in this water. There's a whole bunch of other folks. Some of them are very talented and very moneyed, and, you know, they have resources and whatnot. So he's going to get some more calls, right? So now you've muddied up the water. You come back with him. Now he has to think. Now there's some shade possibilities. Now there's all of that. In this game, you really can't afford to try to, you know, play that game because there's too many other really good fishermen. Yeah, that makes sense? Yeah. So that's what we want to clean up. We want to make sure that this person, you know, gets it, that look, we are in this. This is the deal. And when we send the paperwork over, the paperwork needs to be exactly what it is that we talked about. so that he doesn't have to think again. He can get it signed, because if they hesitate and another call comes in, there's your deal. There's no $5,000, $10,000 gone in one fell swoop, just like that. That's that's the risk that we're always taking in this game. That's why we have to get back on our lead so quick. That's why we have to always act with urgency. So okay, so you guys want to go back in and maybe we can touch on a couple of things, primarily see if you can get to, let's just go back to a specific point at where he's inherited this property and it's vacant and it's out of state. Okay, there's so much stuff there that you can just really make him feel the pain. Maybe tell him a story about yourself or someone you knew who had this same situation and is now way worse off because of it.
Okay,
That makes sense?
makes sense. Okay, Damon, I know you said you inherited this property and you're out of state and it's vacant, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Well, I know you're not dealing with any issues as far as a lot of people that I deal with, they have issues with the city, with maybe people staying in there, hoarders, different things like that. The city putting liens on the property. I know none of that's happening to you, right?
Well, I have been getting calls from the city. They said that it needs some work, and they're threatening to condemn it, and so that's why I do need to get it sold, because I'm also I don't have anyone. I don't think there's anyone in the property, but I am afraid of that. I don't want no one to go squat in the property or to vandalize it.
Yeah, because I had an uncle. He went through the same thing. It sat there. It was like an eyesore, getting tickets and things like that from the city, and they ended up just pushing the thing down, and everybody loses in that. So I just wouldn't imagine how they could feel. I know that that's not something you'd want to go through, would you?
Oh no, I don't want them to tear down the property or anything like that. I mean, I want to get it sold.
When you get it, okay. So Damon, from where I'm looking at this at, you said you would want to get the full price, the 150, right?
Yeah, if I can get it.
Okay. Here's the issue. Basically, I know it does need some repairs. It is sitting vacant, and basically, I would have to get that at a very deep discount, or like I said before, maybe we could do terms on it, something like that. But it's a lot of rehab that's going to go into this property. Mm-hmm. So the 150, and let me ask you, have you got a lot of other calls on this property?
Yeah, I've been getting pretty much calls lately, because since I put it on the market a couple months ago.
Right. So if you don't mind me asking, I mean, why haven't you sold it yet?
Well, they just couldn't either perform or, I just, we couldn't come to terms on anything. That's why.
Okay. So what's going to happen if you don't sell it? If you're getting tickets from the city, different things like that, what's going to happen next if you don't sell it?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. I mean, that's why I really would like to get it sold. I mean, what do you have in mind? You say terms. I mean, what do you have in mind with that?
So basically, terms. What I mean is basically, maybe I give you so much a month until we pay you off until sometime in the future.
What do you have in mind for?
Let's say I'll give you $1,000 and $1,000 a month.
So $1,000 a month, and then for 150.
Let's say I could do the 150.
That sounds pretty good. I mean, if I can make $1,000 a month and get the 150, I would really like that. But how long do you want to do this for, though? If we would decide to do this?
Well, I mean, how long would you like to receive those monthly payments?
I mean, I don't. Could it be 3 years? Maybe we can do it, or because I mean, I don't want to hold it forever.
3 years. I usually don't do anything less than 10.
Oof, 10.
Well, can we meet in the middle? 5.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like we can work something out with that. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So,
That-
like 1,000 a month and then the 150 in 5 years, right?
right.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. You sure you're okay with that today?
Yeah. That sounds real good.
Okay. So, and I just want to make sure we're okay with that because basically, Damon, that'll clear up. There'll be no more fines from the city. Won't be any more quarters, anything like that. So we're gonna go ahead and take care of this today for you. Can you imagine how that'll make you feel after knowing all of this is behind you?
It would feel great because I mean I'm tired of getting the calls from the city, and I've had neighbors even trying to contact me too. So I want to I don't want to have to deal with them anymore. So this would be what I need.
Great. Okay. I'm glad I could be of assistance to you today, Damon. It's gonna be a pleasure working with you. We'll get back together at 4:30 today. Get this taken care of. Okay.
That sounds good.
All right.
That was good.
That was good, man. You really asked some really good questions. I thought 10 years was a boss move. That was like, are you kidding me? I was like 10 years. You know, and then you cut it in half, which made it sound like it was, you know, hella good deal, you know, cutting that in half. So that was a boss move. That was amazing. Give me 1 second here. Put somebody else in. Okay. Any more feedback?
He did. He actually did good as far as the talking about the pain with the seller again and letting the seller know, you know, what have happened if you don't sell, you know, tickets and, you know, the violation, etc. And you did a great job with that part, you know, making the seller feel the pain again. You did a great job.
Yeah, that was great. You painted a picture, you know, what could happen in these circumstances. You know, you gave him the opportunity to acknowledge that yes, in fact, I am dealing with some of this stuff, and you know, that's real strong. When the seller acknowledges for themselves that they are dealing with this stuff, because you didn't have to hammer it in them, right? You just brought it up and they acknowledge themselves. The rest becomes kind of easy from that point forward, right? They're present to the pain, and ideally that's where you want them to be. Also, I liked you know, that you cleared up that he had been getting some calls, and then he gave you a little gem when he said, you know, it had fallen through with other people or whatever. I would have probably gone to, well, why did it fall through? Because it would have gave you a little bit more ammunition, because then you would have found out that, you know, look, that, you know, they couldn't get financing. There was too much work to do in the house. And that was another thing that I was going to say. It's a vacant house. So we definitely want to get to questions as far as the ultimate condition of that property. Like, okay, you're getting calls, but why? You know, what's going on? You got broken windows, you got a hole in your roof, got a torn down door. Are there homeless people living inside the property? You know, those are the kind of, because now if you hear, first of all, as soon as you hear vacant, you have to assume the worst, right? Because we know right now we're in homeless, you know, like we've never seen it before, right? We got issues. Is it overgrown? Do you have a tree that might be an issue in the yard? Because if a tree falls on the roof, it's a whole new ball game now. You know, so I mean, and you don't have to necessarily ask about that, but definitely we want to dig into that scenario just a little bit stronger, especially if they open the door, right? We want to barge through the door and point out everything that could possibly be, you know, an issue, and just make them present to it. That make sense? Hey, Ricky.
Yes.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, we move in the right direction. So we're getting ready to have a few more people probably jump on from Justin's team at about 10 o'clock. So I'm gonna kind of go over that stuff again. But in the meantime, you know, we can just talk about, you know, what do you find are your particular challenges in terms of being able to, you know, get your business off the ground, grow it, or do whatever?
I think mine is when I'm getting a pain, I need to learn to start digging into it more. That's my problem. I don't.
Yeah, you're a nice guy. Yeah, you're a nice guy, and you kind of, you know, just want to.
The questions to go into it.
Yeah. You almost don't want them to feel the pain. You almost want to, you know, appease their pain, right? You want to be the guy who comes and kind of like, you know, they're there. I'm kind of that way too. I've had to like deliberately learn and just commit to that. I have to get to that point. Otherwise, the chance of getting ghosted is going to be, it's going to be hot, right? You know, because, and that's been, and I think it's the issue for a lot of people, is you have these conversations and you still get ghosted, right? That is the issue in this game. And my feeling is that there's probably two reasons why that happens. The first one is you haven't bonded and connected strong enough, right? Like you are not their guy. You know, they don't see, you know, they see you as one of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we're not the guy. We're not, you know, I'm going to definitely do business with Victor. He gets me. He understands. He was empathetic and sympathetic to my needs and my challenges. So I'm definitely, you know, going to roll with him. And then the other is that they haven't really felt the pain of their situation. More importantly, how it doesn't get better if they do nothing, right? Like if they don't do anything, this is not going to get better. It's actually going to get worse.
Make them feel the pain.
You make them feel, you know, make them present to it, right? Like, look, you need to solve this. And the other great thing is understanding what it's going to look like once this problem is solved.
Yeah.
Right. And then just, you know, bring it back to, you know, that understanding that once this problem is solved, it's going to be such a weight off your shoulders. It's going to be such a relief in your life. It's going to allow you to, you know, move forward in a really strong way.
Yeah, if I could take care of this, I mean, how do you see your life after this? I mean, what is it?
That's that question. That's that question. Yeah, and have them really, you know, be present to, you know, I can see what this is going to look like afterwards, and Damon is the guy who's going to get me there. I mean, ultimately, that's what you want them to be thinking at the end of the conversation, right? Besides all of the sales pitch and the numbers and everything, you know, we want them to be at that point where they thinking about their stuff. So anyway, it looks like, let me go back over some of the stuff that we've been going through today, because we looks like we're going to be getting some more people from Justin's crew. So you guys, what we're basically going over and stressing are the different scenarios that we're going to see in order to be able to find the motivated property seller that we're looking for. So there's a couple of issues. There's a couple of things that, well, 7 actually that we've identified. I'll go through them real quick. They're having difficulty making their mortgage payments. That's obviously an issue because it affects every area of their life. And you know, they could take food off the table, mess around with kids' tuition, all those sorts of things. So we want to make sure that we can acknowledge, empathize, sympathize, and close based on that. They've inherited a home that either they don't want or they can't afford. That's number 2. Inherited property is just a new pain that's now been introduced to you that you didn't have anything to do with. And now it just becomes a problem. That one, you know, we have a lot of those out there in the marketplace. Recently divorced and they want to sell. Yeah, well, we know the emotion of divorce. We know the angst that can occur. We know that there is some contentiousness in those relationships. And you definitely want to, it gives you an opportunity to go right in and solve a problem and move them to the next stage of life, which is probably the biggest motivator when you're going through a divorce, is to just get through it and get to the next side, to the other side. Moving and need to sell fast, number 4. Number 5, their house simply won't sell. It's been on the market for a while. They, you know, few people have seen it, but for whatever reason, it won't sell. Number 6, they're tired landlords. They've bought property. They thought they were going to be, you know, the investor guy and accumulate all this property. Then they realize that they really don't like dealing with this, or they may have just been unlucky and got that horrible tenant that everybody is afraid of getting. And we can definitely help those people. And also there's the vacant house. Vacant house, like the last role play that we did, there's so many issues that can come up with that. Everything from getting notices to having people move in, to having squatters, you know, move into the property, to, you know, there's just so much that can happen on a vacant house. And especially if you have a mortgage on it, not only is it at risk, but it's draining you. So those are the 7 key motivators that you'll find that you can plug into when it comes to that. And then we talk about the 4 parts of the process. The agenda, in our case, the way we present it is, look, you know, if you don't like what I'm saying, please, you can fire me today. You can just say, no, I don't want to, we don't need to drag this out for days or months or whatever. I'm going to present something to you today. If you don't like it or don't like me, you can just fire me. Is that okay? Is it okay that I ask you some questions? And then you draw the roadmap. That's the agenda stage. And then the qualification stage, obviously, you know, their commitment to getting this solved. What is their timeline? What is the money situation? And plugging into what are their needs and their greeds. And then we go obviously into the close, and have we satisfied those needs and greeds? Have we satisfied their commitment? Have we addressed the money and showed them a way to get out of it? We review everything that we went over with them. We confirm that everything is exactly as it should be, so that, like we were saying earlier, when they get that agreement in the mail, or in their email, it wants to be the exact same thing that you told them on the phone. And then close them with a firm close and a commitment to either follow up, get the documentation over to them, whatever is necessary. So that's what we're doing, and we're now ready for our next role play. All you guys who just joined, thank you for joining us, and please, everybody, feel free to participate. No judgment zone. We are just simply here to learn and to, you know, try to help each other out. So what I've been doing is just painting a scenario, and then we just kind of coach each other through it. So anybody want to volunteer? So Damon has gone, Jimmy has gone. Wei Lin, let's get you in here, man. All right, I know Ricky's gonna jump in. Ricky's the man. There you go, perfect. All right, guys. All right, so let's paint the picture. Who wants to be the buyer? Who wants to be the seller?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so Ricky, you want to be the buyer?
Yeah, I will. I need work on that.
Okay, good. You be the buyer. And so here's the scenario, Ricky. Wei Lin has been sitting on this house for a while. This house just simply would not sell. We don't know what the underlying reasons for it, but he hasn't been able to get the house to sell. The house is worth $300,000. It has a small mortgage on it of about $90,000. And you know, you can uncover what his motivation is for selling it on your own and kind of, you know, paint the picture and just kind of figure out. But that's the basic scenario. He needs to move. The house hasn't sold. $300,000 value, $90,000 existing mortgage.
Okay.
All right, guys, take it away.
Hey, and we're starting from the very beginning, right?
Yeah, you can start from the very beginning.
Okay. Hello?
Hi.
Ricky, you're the
Hi.
buyer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get it going.
Hi. How can I help you?
Hey, my name is Ricky. I was calling about the property I seen in the paper. I think it was Zillow or somewhere online. Is it still available?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Like I said, my name is Ricky. I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking for another property to buy in this area. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? You can ask me a few questions. See if we can do some business today.
You are not those real investors that's going to give me like a, you know, low ball offer, like, you know, like just like anybody else, are you?
Well, I'm an investor. I'm looking for price or terms. You know, if I get my price, I want a good price. I just need to ask you a few questions. How long you had it? What kind of condition is it in?
Let me jump in here, Ricky. And we all do this, especially when somebody like comes at us like that. We want to go into explanation mode or whatever. That's the perfect time to make sure you get back to him with a question. Like right now, you do not answer his behind when he starts pressing you like that, right? That's you know what? That's a great question. Why do you ask that? You know, you don't want him to try to take you down, because right now, immediately he's trying to take control of the situation. Right. You see, Wei Lin was like, okay, I'm gonna take control of this. You're not another one of those guys. So now he's like, okay, let me. And the way you avoid that is you do not let him start asking you a whole bunch of questions. You turn it right back into a question.
Okay.
All right.
So you're not like those other real estate investors that's going to give me low ball offer, are you?
Oh, why you ask that?
Well, because I'm just sick and tired of all the people that, you know, that's just calling me for, you know, lowball offer. You know, all those people out there, they're calling themselves as a real estate investors. They're all basically giving me a lowball offer, and I'm just so sick and tired of it. You know, so if that's what you're going to do, you can just save yourself some time.
I understand. Okay. Yeah, I really don't know. I'd like to know more about the property. If you could tell me some more. I mean, how long has it been on the market, and conditions, things like that?
What would you like to know about the house?
What kind of condition is it in? I mean, is it good shape? Needs a lot of work, or?
It's a very pretty house. It was, I own it. I lived there for the past 10 years. It's been, taken care of, very well, ready to sell anytime.
Okay. How long you said it's been on the market? How long you been trying to sell?
Well, the last agent that I listed with didn't do the job right. So, it went on expired. But, right now, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Okay. Why do you think it didn't sell? Did you get a good response? A lot of showings? No offers?
Well, there were some offers, but nothing worked out.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right, I got to take a break. This is where I'm lost at. I mean, this side of the fence.
Okay.
I'm lost.
Well, good. I'm. You know what? I appreciate you having the courage to just step in and try to work on it, man. Because that's exactly what we're working on. So, what you want to do here, and here's the key that I find is you want to listen. You want to listen to, because right now you're kind of processing what your next step is going to be, right? You're kind of thinking, okay, where am I in the process, right? So rather than thinking where you are in the process, go back to just listening to what he says, because he's kind of giving you, a double sided answer right here, right? One minute is like, oh, they're giving me all of these, I'm getting all these low ball offers, da, 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 da. And then the next minute, well, it hasn't sold, and now he wants to make it the fault of the real estate agent, right? So he's kind of like, so there's something there that you need to just kind of get out of. If you listen to what he's saying, he's kind of like not taking responsibility for the fact that the house hasn't sold. You know, he says that it's this wonderful, beautiful house. Well, why has it? You know, that's probably not true, right? If it was a wonderful, beautiful house, it would have sold, right? So it's not as wonderful and beautiful as Wei Lin is trying to sell you on right now, right? So you have to, you know, just listen and just, you know, keep asking the questions like you're talking to a buddy, as opposed to you being on the phone with some stranger and you going through, you know, sort of a process, right? The process is just about listening more than anything. Like, just listen to what he's saying. You know, look, Wei Lin, I get that. Now, do you think it was really the realtor's fault? What did he do so wrong that made this house impossible to sell?
Well, I know the house is priced correct, because you know the next door neighbor, when I purchased the home 10 years ago, you know, their house was lower price, but then, you know, they actually got their house sold, you know, just a little bit above my property.
Really? Okay. Tell me a little bit about your property. Was it exactly like theirs, or was their property, you know, had it been doing some upgrades? Had they done some things to their property that made it a little different than yours?
Well, aside from not having a granite countertop, everything else is perfect. I just recently changed the water heater. Everything is good.
Okay. So you see how he's going to start opening up now, and he's going to start telling you about some of the things. He's comparing his house to somebody else's, which is always like, yeah, okay, right? So it's never that story. If they're sold and it was just like yours, there's no reason why yours shouldn't sell. So you just want to just keep asking them questions, you know, and getting to the truth, right? And a good question might be, how much money do you think it would really take, Wei Lin, for you to put your house in the condition to guarantee that it looks so much like the one that's sold that you can sell yours for the same price at the same speed? How much money would that take?
I think that would take. I think that would take 320.
That would take how much?
320 grand.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, so you know that's not going to happen, right? Okay, so Wei Lin, you know, to be real serious right now, your house has been on the market for a while. How motivated are you to sell this? Because, you know, I want to make a deal today. And if you and I can come to an agreement on what that deal is going to look like, I'd like to close the deal today. That'd be okay with you, wouldn't it?
So what kind of deal are we talking about?
That's a great question. You know what? I'm really glad you asked me that. The deal is going to depend very much on solving your problem. So let me ask you, what kind of issues have you had? I mean, are you okay with paying the payment on this house as it is? What are you going to do, you know, once you do sell this house? Why are you even trying to sell it? Why don't you just keep it?
I've lived in this place for the past 10 years, and I just recently moved to another property, a larger property.
you have two payments right now?
I do.
Oh, wow. So how's that working out for you?
Well, I'm not hurting, but
Okay.
you know, I definitely, you know, think it would be a good idea to do something about it.
Okay. So Wei Lin, it sounds like this is just a good idea. It doesn't. I'm not getting the sense that. I mean, you seem to. You know, you told me that it was the realtor's fault that it didn't sell before. You're expecting that you should get the same price. Have you had some offers on the property? Okay, so what I'm trying to do now is I'm just trying to, because he's kind of skirting the issue, so we just need to kind of bring him back to reality. Okay, this is okay. You can afford it. Okay, I get that you can afford it, Waylon. I mean, but my feeling is that nobody just likes wasting money. Let's do this. If I could make you an offer today at your full price, and I'm an investor. So I'm going to do one of two things. I can either offer you full price for your property on terms, or, maybe we can come to an agreement where I can just give you a cash offer and have you out this deal within 30 days with no closing costs. How's that sound for you?
I am firm on my price.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I can give you a full price. Now, what was that price again?
That would be 300 grand.
Okay, all right. What would happen if you didn't get the 300 grand? What would you do?
Well, right now I'm okay, without it. It just, I think it's a good idea. And, with the market that's going on right now, I'm not sure, if, maybe I should just keep it for a while to make sure that I'll, capture a long-term appreciation.
Why don't you just keep it? I'm, at this point right now, it doesn't even sound like there's a, you know what? I think I have something that might actually solve the problem, which allow you to keep it for a while and allow you to actually receive some income on it. Okay. Would you be open to letting me rent your property for, say, 5 years? I'll give you full price. I'll pay all the closing costs at the end. I'll give you a monthly income on this property where you don't even have to do any of the upkeep on it. That doesn't sound like something you'd be interested in, would it?
If that can happen, that sounds amazing.
Okay, good. Okay, so Ricky, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I'm totally lost. I mean, I like the way you're doing it.
So what I did is I moved him from I need my price, I kind of finally got to the sense that, okay, he's okay with paying this, but he's not going to be okay with paying it forever, right?
Right.
He kind of, he can keep the property. He's firm on his price. He keeps saying he's firm on his price. So okay, I'll give you a price. I'm an investor. I'm gonna buy on one of two ways. I'm gonna either buy on terms or I'm gonna buy on price, right? I'll give you your price, but you have to give me my terms. I immediately offered 5 years. So now I have a lease option opportunity right now for 5 years. I'm in a pretty good seat, and so is he, because it kind of solved his problem. He may, in fact, turn around a little bit later and, decide that he doesn't want to sell the property in 5 years and may start to negotiate his way out of that scenario, right? Which that's fine. Yeah. I don't care. But now he's in a situation where I have now offered him a solution to his problem. He can get money. He can get cash flow. He doesn't have to, he can get the price that he's looking for. So, and that was just from listening to what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. Yeah, you did very good.
Okay, so yeah, why don't you look to wrap it up, set the terms of the lease option for him, and then close him out for a follow-up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Or so you'd be willing to let me rent it for you a while, 5 years, you say, 60 months, and cash you out somewhere in that period? That work for you?
I think that may work.
Okay.
So how much are we talking about monthly payments?
What do you think you need? I mean, what would work for you?
I think the market rent is at 1,400 right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think we could do that. I mean, I'll send paperwork over. Look it over.
No, you definitely can't do that.
Got it.
Right, you definitely can't do that because he set your price point. You can agree with it if you want to. I would probably try to get some money out this deal. Okay, because if you can get 1,400 or 1,500, offer him. What are your mortgage payments? How much are you paying? Okay, so we definitely want to cover that. What if I, pay the mortgage payment and then give you another couple of hundred? That way you can kind of end up someplace in between the actual market rent and making sure that his problem is solved.
Right.
He doesn't have any more monthly payments now, and you are someplace between there and the market rent, right?
Okay.
The difference is yours. So now you can start to, build in some, some cash in there until this person exercises their option to buy the property. So you actually can sandwich this deal and make a little money on it, right?
Okay.
If you end up back at the full market rent going to him, that's fine. But definitely, I wouldn't give it to him on the first, give me 14, okay? That's not happening.
Right.
You understand, right? Like, yeah, that's not happening. We're going to work our way back to that. It may happen, but it's not going to happen on the first try.
Right.
Type of thing. Okay.
Okay. Tell you what, I mean, what if I could make your monthly mortgage payments? Would something like that work for you?
No, that's definitely not going to work. I definitely want to have some money on the side too.
Okay.
How much money?
Okay. How much?
Again, back to question. He asks a question, you ask a question. He makes a statement, you ask him a question. When you say you definitely need some money, what does that look like?
Okay. Okay. What would you need monthly?
Well, I think after all the expenses, my ideal monthly profit would be about $300 a month.
Okay, you say so. Your monthly profit would be about $300 a month. You said your $1,400 is what you need, so that'd be $300 above your monthly payments. Is that what you're saying?
So you want to confirm what his monthly payment is. What is your monthly? You ask him directly. What is the monthly payment? He may. I find a lot of people, they, for whatever reason, they tend to be reluctant in that. And then you can just say, well, give me a range. Is it someplace between 900, 950? And they'll tend to, just kind of agree to a range before they tell you exactly what their payment is. That my experience, and that anybody else can chime in if they want to. People have this issue with like it doesn't make a difference that you tell me how much your payment is, right? But people are reluctant. They feel like that's personal.
Right.
Right. So, but I find that if I give them a range, they'll usually say, yeah, something like that. Okay, good. So your payment is $850, Waylon.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay. You know what I can do, Waylon, is I can make the mortgage payment and give you an additional $200 a month in cash flow. How's that sound for you?
After all the expenses like tax and insurance?
Understand, we're going to be putting a buyer in this property, Waylon, though you won't have those expenses anymore. If I was assuming that payment you were referring to included your taxes and insurance, it doesn't?
No, it does not.
Okay, so give me the full amount, your PITI on your property. For those who don't know, PITI is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, which is the entire payment that you would make on a monthly on a mortgage house payment.
So we're looking at about $900.
Okay, all right. So you want to pay the $900, and let's see.
And I still like to have about $300 a month on the side. No, it's pretty tight. I understand. It's
yeah. You know what, Waylon? I really want to get this done, but can we do 150 above the PITI?
And then I'll have trouble free, right?
That's right. That's absolutely right. Understand, we're putting buyers in here. They're not going to be calling you at 2 a.m. for toilets and whatnot. So yeah, this is basically all you're going to be doing is cashing checks. You wouldn't be interested in that, would you?
But because it's a house that I lived in for the past 10 years, I would like to be able to pick the right buyer.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You will have right of first refusal. Yeah, nothing happens without you signing off on it. That's absolutely, yeah. You deserve that. You've already paid the price in this house, and I know it means something to you, and I know you wouldn't want to have somebody in there that's going to do damage or not adhere. So our buyers are highly qualified, and you'll be able to sign off on that. Would that satisfy that need for you?
That may work for me.
Perfect. Okay, so out of role play. So did you see what I did there?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, let me have somebody in. So what I did there is I found out what his bottom line necessary monthly payment is, right? His full PITI, principal, interest, tax, insurance payment, he said was $900. He wanted to get $300 cash flow. I immediately, hesitated. Like, so I want him to think that this is a deal killer for me. Right. And he's already invested at this point. He's already kind of like, damn, I can almost see my money now. And I can sign off on the person who's moving in, and I'm gonna get cash flow, and I don't have to fix toilets. He's like, okay, this is sounding good, but because he's a negotiator, he's still like, give me more, tell me more, make me feel better, which is what a lot, especially the experienced ones, somebody who sold 2 or 3 properties or whatever, they kind of get this now, right? So he's like, let me see what else I can get. But I took him right back down to the 150. So let's say that if he's right, the market rent is $1,400. His PITI is 9. I offered him 150 more than that. So I am at 1,050 and I'm collecting 14. What's my cash flow? I'm 250 up. I'm actually more up than him on a monthly basis, right? But he's fine with it because his problems have been solved, right? His problem has been solved. So now we're like, okay. So you have the basic outline of the agreement. Go ahead and close them out.
Woo! I was hoping to see you do that.
You okay? Well, you want me to do it?
Yeah, because I want to see how you're going to transition into putting somebody else in his house, and you're going to get money when maybe he's going to want something up front or something. I mean, I don't know. that's a problem for me.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Victor, can I say something?
Yeah.
You could have closed him out when he was mainly concerned about the tenant spots. Can he actually preview them before you can actually do what you have to do? Because his main concern is basically the tenant buys. He owned his property for a while. He wanted to actually see who's going to be living in this property. Me, I would actually say, suppose that I'm able to to grant your needs as far as you reviewing every last tenant buys, and then you pick the one that you actually see that's going to be a good fit. Would we be able to do a deal today?
Good.
I like that.
And then you go ahead with the close.
Yeah. Now I was actually going in the same direction in terms of just telling them, look, you're going to have the ultimate sign off. And the reason I went in that direction, to be honest with you, and not to discount what you're saying, because I think obviously I think you're amazing in your technique. But I just had this sense that he's kind of got a little bit of an ego. As soon as I said he was going to be able to sign off, he was like, okay, cool, I'm back in control.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's one size fits all in that situation. I was kind of like, okay, I get that this guy likes to feel like he's wanted to control this situation the whole time. So I'm like, okay, well, yeah, you get to sign off on whoever it is. If you don't like them, they don't go, right? He's
Correct.
like, okay, I'm back in control now.
Yeah.
You feel that? So that's
I get it.
kind of where, that's kind of was my thinking in that. Anybody else have any thoughts on that particular process? Thank you, Jimmy. That was again another great contribution.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So all right, perfect. All right, so it looks like we have the outline. I am getting ready to put all of this down on paper for you, Waylon. Now I'm going to get this over to you right away. If you take a look at the agreement, it'll have everything that you and I just talked about. And if I can get that over to you in the next hour, can you sign off on it right away? Or is there anybody else that's going to have to be involved in this decision making?
I'm definitely going to need my son to review the documents and get a second opinion. To
Well,
make
I already
sure
talked to my son. He says it's fine. Don't even worry about that. don't even worry about that. I got you on that. Don't even worry about that. No, but seriously though, Waylon, really you have to talk to your son. Is he going to be a factor in your decision? It sounded to me like you were pretty much the guy.
Well, because I'm the legal owner, but I definitely want to make sure that he gets his input on this decision making.
I can definitely appreciate that. Thank you very much for sharing that with me. So can we get him on the phone right now? Is there any way we can, because I can review everything that we did. I can review the basic outline of this agreement with him right now. Is he available?
He's at work right now.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I get this over to you in the next hour. What time do you expect him to get home?
Probably about 5, 6 in the evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
You expect that you'll be able to talk to him, pretty much within an hour or so of him arriving at home?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you and I reconvene this conversation at say 7 o'clock tonight, will you be ready to make a decision? Can I count on you to not only keep the appointment, but also, like I said before at the beginning of this, you can just fire me if something doesn't work, but also understand that that we can make adjustments if there's some things that you don't feel. But right now, I think we've come to a pretty strong agreement on this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, that sounds great, man. It's been amazing talking to you. You definitely seem like you're, a person of your word. I love the way, you present yourself. I expect that I won't have any issues with getting ghosted later on this evening, am I?
No, you won't.
No? Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. You just seem honorable like that.
Thank you.
So I'll get this over to you within the next hour. It'll be exactly the terms that you and I spoke about. And then I'll follow up with you at 7 o'clock once you've had a chance to speak with your son. If in fact he has questions or whatever, feel free to just give me a call. You don't have to wait until 7 o'clock for us to reconvene. You can, just reach out to me. The number you have is a cell phone, so you can text me or something if you aren't able to talk, and we can just iron everything out. And tonight, when I talk to you at 7 o'clock, is there any reason why we can't just consummate this and move it forward and get it closed out?
No.
All right, perfect. All right, well, I will talk to you at 7 o'clock. It's been a pleasure, Waylon.
Likewise.
All right, you take care.
All right.
Beautiful.
That was good.
Love it.
That was good.
That was good.
That was good.
All right. Hey, you guys, let's get some feedback. Anybody have anything they would have done better, different?
No, you did a great job. You did a lot of digging and to make sure you get a good understanding with the seller still having control of the situation. You did a lot of work on your side.
Yeah,
I think
I needed Jimmy, because Jimmy is, he's a strong personality, and my experience has been that we run across a lot of strong personalities in this game.
Yeah.
Because one, they're homeowners, right? They work hard. They feel like some of them have sold, multiple properties, or maybe even investors on their own, so they have egos, right? They're not interested in you getting on the phone and, walking over them, or, making them feel, like they're being talked down to or anything like that. So if I get an ego guy, all I'm gonna do is just boost ego.
Correct.
right?
It's good.
Because that's what they love, right? That's what, you know, that's what ego guys love, or even ego girls, because there's ego girls too, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like,
So Ricky, did that help you out at all, buddy?
Oh, yes, it did. And you see where I'm at. This is
Uh-huh.
my missing link right here. What is the best way for me to learn? Just pick up the phone and practice till I get as good as you, Jimmy, and all, you know, everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the bottom line, you know what I mean? And like here, like exactly what you're doing right now, right? I think there's a place for you to stand in terms of when you talk to somebody. And you know, you probably notice it when Jimmy does it, you probably notice it when I do it. Our main thing, all we want to do in these conversations is we want to listen. That's the very first thing. That's the first priority. Like, I'm not worried about my script. I'm not worried about, you know, none of that stuff. I want to listen to this guy or girl, because they are going to tell me everything that I need to know to close them. At some point, right, Jimmy? Yeah, they're going to tell you. They're
yeah,
going to tell you. Yeah.
based off of the correct questions you asked, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why you know, I listen to Claude all the time, opening the question, how, what. You say it all the time, how, what. You said it on the call today. It's like every time you kept saying what, how, what happened, they
Mm-hmm.
start opening up and start talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Claude, one of the things that he you know, always reiterates is question. Like, he never, ever answers a question. Now,
Yeah.
we sometimes have to, because there's informational stuff that you just want to clear up. Like, you know, look, this is what's going to happen. So that's your answer. But it's most of the time when somebody asks you a question, all they're telling me is, oh, there's a question I need to ask you.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? There's a question behind the question all the time.
Right.
So if you can just get into the two things, like I was saying, listen, you know, listen, find out what their real motivation is. And for you to listen, you can't be, I did a training one time, and we had a white card. And we had to raise the white card every time we were conscious of the fact that we were no longer listening to the person who was talking.
Yep.
Oh
Correct.
my God. It was,
Okay.
it was really sad how quickly, and basically what we do is when somebody's talking, we're preparing our rebuttal.
Yeah.
As soon as we get to the point at which we think we know what they're going to say, right? Because we have so much life experience and we've seen this so many times. As soon as we get to the point at which we think we know what they're going to say, we start preparing our rebuttal.
Right.
And so imagine the white card every time you do that, every time you realize that you are not listening to this person anymore. And the less you raise that white card, the better and stronger your listening skills are developing.
Correct.
Cool. And that's me. I need to slow my mind down. Yep.
Yeah. Because right now you're kind of in the process of the process,
Right.
right?
Yep.
You're kind of like, you know, well, okay, well, this comes next and I'm at the agenda part. Okay, now I need to do the qualification. Okay, is that, okay, qualification. Okay, did I get that? You know, and so you're kind of still sort of, you know, in the learning phase sort of thing, like when we first read a textbook.
Correct.
You know, and hopefully the teacher's whole objective by the end of the year is to have the textbook be second nature to you, right?
Right.
In sales, one of the things that I was trying, and Jimmy could speak on this, Kenneth could probably speak on this, Damon could definitely speak on this. In sales, it's really about a matter of uncovering information that will allow you to give them what they need on the terms that you want to give it.
Correct. That's true.
Right? That's really the bottom line. So the main thing that you want to just start doing is listening.
Yep.
Okay, and it's great because if you repeat it to them, now they know you're listening.
Now they know, yeah.
And it gives you a certain, you know, it makes you feel better, right, Waylene? When I reiterated that I've heard what you said, that I acknowledge the fact that that is your deal and this is what you want, Now at that point, you kind of get the sense, right? Okay, this guy's listening to me,
Yeah.
right? And being that you are, you know, sort of a control guy, you need people to listen. And I'm not saying that like negative, because I'm that guy. You know, I'm that guy. I like need to be, you know, I need to make sure that I understand, right? So it kind of comes off as needing to control, right? And that's how you are. You need to understand. You need to know that you've been heard. You need to know that you're not talking to somebody who is not paying you any attention, right? Somebody who's on their routine about shit, right? The car salesman guy who, you know, you keep trying to talk and he keeps interrupting you with his next pitch.
Yeah.
That's the worst, right? I will hang up on their ass. Like, I'm done with you. If you're not listening to me, I don't want nothing to do with you, right? So you know, Ricky, once you see that, once you get to that point, let me let Dion in. Hold on. Once you get to that point where all you're doing is listening, because I'm guessing, I know this. You already know what you want to do.
Yep.
You already know where you want to get, right? You already know that. That part, believe it or not, is not that hard. You know, you already know you want to get either a cash offer on your terms, or you know, a cash offer on your terms being at the price that you want, or you want terms on your lease option opportunity.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You already know that. So now you just have to listen long enough to see where I can fit this in at. You know what I'm saying? I can't fit it in until he got some emotion invested in it. Like, I can't fit it in until I solve a problem for him.
Right.
And then I have to convince him that I'm the guy to solve his problem, and that I have the integrity and the knowledge to make it happen for sure. And then we're going to make it happen quickly. I'll get back to you today. I will get this over to you within the hour. Right?
Yep.
Because my experience, and any of you guys can speak on this, my experience has been, you hesitate, you lose. Because anybody who has anything for sale, and if it makes it to the internet, there are people calling.
Right.
A lot of people. Some of them with mad skill sets. Right? They will get that dude on the phone and blow you right out the water because they're good.
And that's where I want to be, right there.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Right. Either you want to be really good like that, or you just basically just want to make sure that you can create enough relationship with this guy who he feels like your value is such that he wants to keep you on board. So that he subconsciously is tired of listening to all the other stuff. Look, I'm cool with it. I got what I needed. You know what? I'm not even going to deal with this anymore. My solution is in place. Right? You want him having that conversation about you, right?
Yep.
That's what we're all looking for.
Cool.
Hey, you guys. Hey, Rocky, what's going on, buddy?
Ricky, I had just a few points. Like your the way you talk is perfect. Like the whole Southern, you seem like you're not like slick. You seem like you're like a, you know, not a hillbilly, but kind of a, you know, you're not here to be all slick and take advantage of them. And you talk nice and slow, so it's not all slick and like. But yeah, I love the way, you know, the way you talk and stuff. It's perfect, and people will trust that. They'll trust you because you seem like their neighbor, right. Or like the mechanic down at the, you know, like you're talking on their level, and you're not talking all like complicated and like. So yeah, you just got to make those calls.
Yep.
That is such a, hey, thanks for that input, Rocky, but that is such a great point that he just made, because, you know, I have my personality, you know, I tend to be, you know, aggressive and sort of to the point, and, you know, however my personality is. Jimmy has his personality, you know, he's real mellow, he's real, you know, but you always get the sense that he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yep.
That kind of way. You know, I'm a little bit more assertive in my speaking. You know, Kenneth is someplace in between the two of us. You know, he's kind of got the mellow thing, you know, a little bit, but then at the same time, when he starts speaking, he's really, you know, direct and to the point. So I agree with what Rocky said in regards to you. If I get you on the phone and you show any level of confidence in what you're doing, I'm comfortable, I'm cool with you. You know, you're putting me at ease about my situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's right about your voice, your tone, everything like that. That is your strength. That is your sword right there. And now it's just a matter of listening.
Yep.
Just
And I
listen.
thank you for that, because I feel like I took one step forward.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, absolutely, man. And Rocky, thanks for that input, man. But he's absolutely right. Damon has that same thing going on too, you know, where he just comes off with that sort of, you know, Southern warmness and kindness to you, which don't, but you know, don't take my, you know, don't let the smooth taste fool you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't take my kindness for weakness, you know, that whole thing, because you know exactly what you're doing it, but you're doing it with butter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just butter, just like smooth and silky. And you have that. So yeah, for sure, man. Just, you know, use your gift, and that's your gift for sure. You know,
Hey, Victor.
Hey, Dion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're on.
Yeah, as I was listening, I guess one of the things that I was thinking about is how long do you engage with in terms of making a decision whether or not it's even worth staying on the phone with the person. You know what I mean? Because typically, I know Justin has said, many times he only got to stay on the phone with a person for a couple minutes before they know.
And he's talking primarily about the qualifying portion, like on the front end. You just want to find out enough information to know, okay, yeah, well, you know, I want my price. Well, okay, I get you want your price, like in this last role play that we did, right? I get that you want your price, but I already know that you have not gotten your price for almost 2 months now.
Right.
And I also know that you got a problem that you are not acknowledging right now, because yeah, you can afford to make the payments, but nobody in their right mind wants to just make payments into an empty bucket.
Exactly. And I got a lot out of that role play, particularly, when Ricky kind of got stuck and you stepped in, because I'll be honest, I've really never been one to ask that many questions. I guess, because I don't want to feel like I'm drilling somebody, but, listening to the one this week and the one last week, the assumption of control of the conversation. I'm kind of a technical person too. So when somebody asks me something, I want to answer it because they asked me a question. But in this game, that's not what I need to be doing. And that's why I'm just so thankful for these, so I can learn and kind of mold what I need to do with my personality so I can do it properly, but, with my own kind of style, so to speak.
Well said, my friend, and that's exactly right. You don't need to be anybody else. You don't need to change who you're going to be. You don't need to turn into Claude or Justin or, me or Jimmy for that. You don't need to turn anybody. Dion is perfect. Dion just has to, do Dion in a strategic manner such that you create relationship and bond, and that you ask the questions that will allow you to get enough ammunition to be able to solve this person's problem and close the deal to everybody's satisfaction, so you don't ever have to worry about them backing out on you, because you give them what they asked for, what they wanted, and what you're able to deliver.
Exactly. I'm finding out more and more of exactly what I need to do to tweak what I do so I can get better. And again, I'm appreciative to you and everybody that's on these calls with their input and, their encouragement and support. So just wanted to put that out there. I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely, Dion. Thanks for your input, man. We definitely, acknowledge the acknowledgement. Hey, anybody, hey, Waylon, man, I know this is your first time, bro. Thank you so much for, your participation and your willingness to, put yourself out there and everything. Your confidence shows, and, I have no doubt that you can really kill it.
I was just trying to be as helpful as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were. And you were. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, anybody else got anything? We have about 5 minutes left. If anybody wants to, do another quick role play, we can do it. Or if you have any questions that we can answer, if you have any technical things, or if you have a story you want to share.
Hey, I've got a quick. Hold on, I got a quick story I want to share. This is just so amazing.
Yeah.
I've been speaking with my son for years about, considering real estate as a possible vehicle, for building some wealth for himself and his future family.
Yeah.
He's 19.
Yeah.
So, he's just finishing up his first year of college. Do you know this dude calls me about a week and a half ago and says, Dad, I did my first wholesale deal. I got a check for $5,000. Almost fell out of my chair. I almost fell out of my chair. I'm like, now that's what I'm talking about. That's my boy. And honestly, it gave me some motivation because I was struggling a little bit with what I'm doing. I'm like, my son's 19 and he's making it happen. What's wrong with you? You got to make it happen.
That is so. I have a similar story too, bro. My son did the same thing to me. I've never liked being a real estate agent, and my kids obviously have always been around real estate. Like that's all they've ever knew. That's how we made our money. That's how I put them through school. All that, right? But they never seemed to have any real interest in real estate. Like they never really expressed to me that they had an interest. Guess what? They're all doing.
Really? That is awesome.
And one of them is doing.
Awesome.
He's a real estate agent, and he's doing amazing over in the northern part of Southern California. Just killing it, and that makes you feel good. So I know exactly how you're feeling, man. I appreciate you sharing that story because that real estate it gets in your blood. It's over.
Yes, sir.
You ain't never getting rid of it.
And like Victor, you see how with Dion, he actually expressed his story, and then how you actually came in and now you built that relationship with him as far as you expressing your story, and you both actually said the same thing. Mm-hmm. That's how you guys just created a bond together, and you did a good job about that too.
Okay, see, leave it up to Jimmy. Right, but you guys, that's exactly what Justin talks about. That's exactly what we talk about in this: is create a commonality, right? Tell a story, and acknowledge somebody else's story. Acknowledgement is big. Like somebody's telling you some stuff. Once you acknowledge, they are clear that you were listening. Which one of us doesn't like to know that when we're talking, we're actually being heard, right? The worst relationship you can have is when you are talking to somebody, and if the guys and the girls on this conversation have probably had relationships that they've ended because they never got the impression that they were listened to. And that is the truth, even on the short calls that we do with these people, they want the same thing. If you can get on there and you can actually be that person who might be the only person today that listens to them, man, I have to believe that gets us closer to the close and getting a signature on an agreement. Right? Notice I never say contract. Because my feeling is I don't like to hear contract because it always implies that I'm getting ready to be trapped in some shit that I'm gonna have to read that I ain't gonna never get a chance to read, and it's gonna bite me later. Like that whole conversation, right? Never say that. I'm gonna send over an agreement that spells out exactly what you and I talked about today. Never say contract, right? With an agreement that just basically spells out everything that you and I talked about today. So there'd be no reason for you not to just sign it. There's not going to be any surprises on there for you. We've covered everything. All right, guys, it looks like we're up at the top of the hour, man. This has been an amazing, amazing day. I appreciate all of you guys coming on. Ricky, thank you so much for, putting yourself out there, man, and allowing yourself to be coached and continuing to grow. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. Damon, Jimmy, everybody who's on here. Let me see. There's Waylon, appreciate, Kenneth, Rocky, Myra, Harold, Rick, Aisha, everybody who's still on the call. Thank you guys so much for support and participation. And, you know, let's go make some deals this week, you guys. Let's share some stories next week about at least some really great calls that we had that, you know, turn into some signatures or something of that nature.
Shut up money.
What?
I got my shut up money.
I heard you the first time. I just wanted to hear it again.